Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wonderful world of Facebook Live with me, Martin. I hope you're doing very well. It's Monday morning here. It may be Monday evening or afternoon with you, but sending love and gratitude and wishes to all of you joining here. I have not set up this camera very well, so I might just shift around again. That's better. Now I can see myself. Morning, Alexandra. Hey. So, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Feeling very good today after a night's sleep, and wanted to chat about some things today, sleep being one of them, and sort of the nature of reality and the nature of what we know to be true. What is reality? When are we dreaming? When are we awake? So it's an interesting subject, so I thought I would have a chat about that today, and let's see where it goes. No plan. I've just written the title again and see where it takes me. So firstly, what is sleep? So the conventional wisdom, what we would think of as sleep, is that we feel like our physical body needs rest. So we wake up in the morning, we do the things during the day, whatever our activities are, and then the body gets tired, and then at nighttime we need sleep to rest the physical body. That would be conventional wisdom. For me, I'm going to offer an alternative version of that, and to talk about it, we're going to have to talk a bit more esoteric, multi-dimensional, a bit more out of the box. Alexander says, "Oh my God, I'm just studying dreams and sleep the whole day." There we go. Absolutely, Alexandra. Synchronicity as usual. Every time we connect, we are in sync, and there's no coincidences about that. So we're all drawing from this same field that's here. Everything exists here and now, so I feel like we're just drawing the same thing, and when we're on similar vibrations, this is what happens. So I'd be interested to hear what you have come up with. I have no idea what I'm going to come up with now, but let's just see how it goes. If we look at the broadest sense of what we are, who we are, where we come from, so I'm going to share that for me, we are all source energy. We all come from the one source of all that is. And in order for source to experience itself, it is dialed down. So if you imagine all it is, there's no separation, there's no otherness, so it can't experience itself. So what happens is source divided itself into infinite amount of pieces, and those infinite amount of pieces come down at several levels of awareness, and we are at the point of awareness of physical reality, where we are not aware fully of that multi-dimensional part of us, that God self part of us. We are aware mostly in this physical body. So that God self has been dialed down, dialed down, dialed down. It's still the same, but the awareness of what we are is limited, and we're in the process of remembering what exactly that is. So offering a different perspective on what actually sleep is from that point of view, is that our soul, our God self, is actually... So the other thing is that if we talk about a soul, some people would think that the soul is inside the body, and then we sleep, we get rest. I am of the opinion that the body is actually in the soul. The soul is multidimensional. The grander, wider self is beyond. It has multiple incarnations. It exists in multiple places and in different times, although the space and time is an illusion as well. But we exist beyond what we can see and feel and taste and touch here. So when we look at that actually, I feel like the body exists within the soul, but the soul is bringing itself into this acute, so you imagine this broad, expanded, free, non-physical energy of awareness, takes itself into a physical body so that it can experience through the senses. So taste and touch and smell and all of the sensual things that we do, but it limits itself because when it's outside of the body, it's completely free. There's no distance and time the way we experience it here. So when we're in the physical body, So for whatever many hours a day, the soul is like compacted. So I was getting these images this morning of like blowing up a balloon inside like a glass bottle or something like that, and so inside it's like it's under pressure. It doesn't have the same awareness. It doesn't have the same freedom to move. So every night when we fall asleep, what is actually happening? It's not the physical body that's getting a rest. It's the soul is getting freed. The soul is moving beyond this limitation of within physical confines. So Nick says, good morning, Marty. I am more and more expansive in the state between sleep and waking, yeah. And I would love to hear your opinion on how do we get from physical universe to our dream state. Let's see if I can see the rest of it. Sometimes it doesn't allow me to see the rest of the comment. So next question is, would love to hear your opinion on how do we get from the physical universe to our dream state. So it's a good point, and it's a very powerful time, is that moment between just waking. I think he said before waking, between sleep and waking. Yeah. So in the morning time. So from that, where I'd said, so the soul is getting the soul surrounds the body, but your awareness is put inside the body. So when we sleep, that's released. The body is the awareness is taken outside of the body. We don't have conscious memory of it all of the times, but dreams would be another reality that we're experiencing when we're outside the physical body. So that moment between sleep and waking is a very powerful time to meditate, to manifest all of those things, because we are still not fully, there's like an in-between stage where we're not fully back in the physical, but we're also not fully back, we're not fully free. So it's kind of that limbo state, that grey area. And I think a good example of this is some people that experience sleep apnea or things like this, is when, so let's say that the soul is out off wandering, dreaming, doing all of these things, expansive, and something happens where the physical body is laying in bed that wakes, like there may be a sound or something, a movement, and so that moment when the soul would normally come back slowly into the body and it wakes. The sleep apnea or sleep paralysis, this sort of thing, is so suddenly the body is woke up, but the soul is not fully back. It's still kind of in limbo, and then some people wake up, they can't move their body, so they're in that in between stage, and they can't move, and it can be quite frightening. It can be quite scary. So that's the kind of an extreme version of what happens for people, and that can be understandably quite jarring to some people. But when this happens naturally, we come back slowly. So in that morning time space, we're kind of half and half. So it's a very powerful time. For me, it's my meditation time. It's my manifestation time. It's the time where I can create the physical dream that we're moving into, because that's where I write down exactly how I want my life to be. I write down how I want my day to be. I see and visualize the things that are going to manifest that day, and it's a very powerful thing. So how do we get from the physical universe to our dream state? So I think that's what Nick had asked. So how do we get? So I feel like it's a natural, it happens every night. We go back and forward. Some people have conscious awareness of this, full conscious awareness of this. People that practice astral travel or lucid dreaming, these types of things, they can consciously do it, and they can leave their body with consciousness and see it and feel it and move through. So Alexander says, Carl Jung says, the dream is a little hidden door in the innermost secret recesses of the soul, opening into that cosmic night which was psychic long before there was any ego consciousness. Beautiful. Wow. Carl Jung said it very, very beautifully. Again, I can't read the full, there's probably more on that. That's amazing. Yeah, he's an amazing guy, and I've seen lots of his quotes, very poetic and beautiful. So so when Nick said, and how do we do it, it happens naturally. Let me me just see exactly what that was again. I've lost. So how do we get from the physical universe to, yeah? So we relax the physical body at night, and we're allowing, so the soul, it's time for the soul to go and get its rest. It's actually, but the other thing is the soul doesn't need a rest. The way we think about it, it's not that a rest, that it needs to replenish energy. It's full of unlimited energy, but it's like being squeezed, and the balloon being squeezed into that bottle, so it's like constricted. It doesn't have this full awareness. It's like controlled, and that, so it needs a time. So if you imagine you squeezed yourself into a bottle every day, you would need a certain amount of time to have that experience within the bottle. You need certain time where you're able to go out and float off into the sky, like if you blew up the balloon and just let it go out, or smash the bottle and go into a new one every day. So that's what I think around that. It happens naturally, but then on the wider view of, like, in the title that I talked about is so this physical reality that we're having now, you're hearing my voice, you're experiencing many things in your physical reality. They feel very real, they seem very real, we can touch things, but are they actually real? Is this the actual reality? For most people, they would say yes. I would say, because it's what I can feel, it's what I can hear, it's what I can sense with my senses, and that's what's real. And that's from the most recent scientific models, is this what I can taste and touch and smell is what's real. But when you look at the quantum world, what we see as physical reality, what we see as solid objects, are 99.99999% space, but they vibrate at a certain level so that they feel solid to us. But in reality, they're mostly space, and what is matter is a minute part of actually what is real. So is what we experience, physical reality, actually the reality? Is it a solid reality? We can give ourselves the experience of it, because I'm sitting on this chair now, so it is solid in this reality. But if we were able to go down to the minutest part of this, the part that is solid is so minute. So that also would suggest that my body, to be able to sit on that chair, must be mostly space as well. So that, because it, the action reaction, how would that possibly be? So the reason for this is because we want to come into this physical body to have the sensual experience. But in reality, what if, let's say not in reality, let's just offer a possibility, or again an alternative point of view, that what if actually when we wake up in this physical reality, this is the dream, and actually when our soul leaves the body and goes off in dreams and explores multiple realities, multiple lifetimes, things where you can experience yourself as someone or something else, what if that is reality? It's a possibility. It's just a suggestion. It's not. We can't say ultimate reality. I can't say one thing. Ultimate reality is all that is. It's everything else is experience. It's apparent reality. Everything in between. So all of this physical stuff, and even the dreams that we have, are ultimately they're only apparent reality. They're only experiences. The ultimate reality is source. Is that all it is? It's the awareness that's never born and never dies. It's the awareness that's there without attachment. It's the awareness like that Muji talks about, or the non-dual teachers. That's the real awareness. It's the awareness that's aware of the experiences that we think are reality. But if we take it down a level from that, because that's quite a distance for a lot of people, and it was for me for a long time. But if we look at when we move beyond the physical to go into that what's called the dream world, what if that is really within the confines of that's the real, that is the reality that we are, that we're multidimensional, we exist at multiple places at different times. We exist in multiple incarnations, parallel realities, It's an interesting one, but if we come back to more physical and more practical, for most people, I can get very esoteric and very out there, so I can bring it back to here. If we look at that as a possibility, and let's say it's a potential, let's say I'm just throwing out an idea. It's something that may challenge a lot of your beliefs or everything you've been taught, and that's okay. But if we accept that that's a possibility, that's why this manifestation or designing your life or creating in that moment where Nick talked about, when you're in between the sleep state and the awakened state, that's why it's so powerful, because you still have, in that non-physical state, you have when you have a thought, you're just there. So people that have done lucid dreaming, I've done some astral travel, and Alexandra that was joined there is a very accomplished astral travel guide, and she takes people on these amazing journeys, and I've had some experience of that as well, where you can actually come out of your body with consciousness and actually direct yourself. So I've had experience where I can go to anywhere on the planet or even off planet and direct yourself in any way you want. And people could say, yes, that's just your imagination, and that's okay. But what I would say is, if it is just imagination, then it's still an experience. So if I experience that as a reality and I can actually experience it, then what's the difference? What's the difference if we look that if we wake up, if we consider this is potentially a dream, then we're just having this experience, and who's to say that the dream we have when we are sleeping is not another real? It isn't a real experience, but which is reality? Who knows? We can never say. As I said, the ultimate reality is beyond all experience. But if you accept the potential, if you broaden your horizons and broaden your possibilities, that is a possibility, then what we really want to do in this life is become lucid in this dream. This is what we want to do. So being awake within this dream is the ultimate, for me, the ultimate purpose of coming here. So we dial ourselves down from this all that is with awareness of all things and all times, and we come into this limited point of view where I can experience life through my senses. And many people have done it, and I am in the process of doing it. Many people are in the process of doing it, of actually waking up inside this dream. And that's seeing beyond the veil and seeing beyond this body, seeing that it is a momentary thing. It's constantly changing. It's not as solid as what we think it is. If we looked as deep, and the deeper we look, the farther away it gets, the bigger it gets, like everything. So if we can wake up in the dream, we can start to really create a really positive dream here. And that's what all of the practices that I do are based around, is waking up in the dream, waking up in this physical dream, and being lucid in this dream. So that means we can direct this dream, and we're not a victim of outside circumstances, which are only reflections of our being and the themes that we're going through and what we want to experience. But if we can direct this dream, if we are lucid and we start creating in those moments between sleep and wake, and start to focus on the things we want, start to talk about the things we want, start visualizing the things and people and places and experiences that we want to experience, I can tell you from personal experience, these things start to happen, and this physical dream that we feel is a lot of times out of our control will start to become, and again, control is not a right word, but we can direct our experiences in a certain way that's relevant for us. And if we start to do this in a way that is positive and empowering, then this dream becomes a absolute dream in the most powerful and empowering and beautiful way. And that's what law of attraction and these things talk about. That's just taking that awareness that you're creating what you see around you, and it's a dream, and it's a dream that we can wake up in and be lucid and direct the dream and move it towards the things that we want, and really just use our creative consciousness, our co-creative consciousness, that God self, that source, that thing that creates everything. Thing is not the right word, but that isness, that is there. Everything that is created comes from that power, and you are part of that. You are that. You can direct that to create the things you want in this physical dream. So start playing with that and start opening your mind to the possibilities that I can manifest things instantly. And in this time, in this energy, things is changing on planet Earth, where we are, and things are speeding up. Time is becoming much more fluid. What we think of as time as linear time doesn't really exist anyway, but we exist within this experience now, because this physical three-dimensional reality is what we came to experience. We came to experience linear birth, midlife and death, because it creates growth, it creates expansion, it creates more awareness. But if we can start to play with that and start to step outside the confines of time, doing things that we love, doing things that make the clock stop, where you'd be doing it and you think it feels like 5 minutes, but you look at the clock and it's 2 hours. That's when you're waking up in the dream, becoming lucid in this physical dream. And it's exciting, it's fun, it's empowering, it's playing with the nature of reality. And there are infinite realities. So when we say reality, that word, because language is limited, we're kind of, if we say one thing, this is reality, that kind of limits to one certain perspective of all it is. And it's my reality, is what I perceive as reality, is going to be completely different to what you perceive as reality, because there are infinite possibilities that all exist here and now, but we can have experience of anything that we choose. So that's when this lucid dream of physical reality becomes your reality. If you start to direct your consciousness towards the things you want, start to create in a way that expands you, and drop the fears, drop the old beliefs, drop the limited thinking of what we've been taught our whole lives within this dream. So you can use this awareness, and even if you don't fully believe what I'm saying, which is completely, I don't even always believe what I say. I'm just bringing what is coming through me. Just experiment for yourself and give yourself direct experience. I can say that I have recently experienced things that you could only say are magical, where I will say something and it appears. It's like, it's magic. It's what we would call magic. And we say things, we think things, we take some actions, and they just appear in front of you, because that gap between the thought and the words and the actions and the physical manifestation is lessening and lessening, because of the malleability of time, because of the changes of where we are in the galaxy, in the universe, and because of the changes of our awareness, of more people waking up. So the collective consciousness of we are all one as a human consciousness, but so as a collective, more and more of us are waking up, and even the people that are not waking up are part of this collective consciousness. And each person that does wake up to a certain degree is going to affect the mass consciousness, and everyone as a result is taking up a slight level. Each person that wakes up, the collective consciousness becomes aware of itself more. So this is another empowering thing that you can think about, is that we often feel separate, we often feel powerless, we often feel like what I do doesn't change the world, or it doesn't even change the things for me, if we look at it on a smaller scale. But as a collective consciousness, we are already awake. We're just not aware that we're awake. We just don't remember that we're awake. And this comes from Conversations with God, book 3, which I love. And this fly is testing my non-violence skills again. So we are already awake. We already are this energy, this awareness, this all it is energy. but we come here to actually experience that and remember that and become that within the physical dream, because that is like so much, it's like going from the right darkest dark, the least amount of awareness, to expanding out, so that balloon comes out of the bottle and it leaves the bottle behind for a certain time and it starts floating in the air, and it's freedom, it's expansive, and that's where we're moving. And the more people, as I say, one by one, each you have influence. You change the world every second, every moment, because each choice you make, every move you make, every word you say alters something in your reality. And we have a collective agreed reality which we share together, and there's certain agreements that we make that we are collectively agree to, so we have this illusion of what is reality for everyone, but it's within that confines of an agreed reality that we give ourselves the experience that everyone's experiencing the same thing. But in reality, each of us are creating our own individual reality, and that changes constantly. And we merge with people, we meet people, we have experiences with people, and that collective agreement moves it forward. But each person is only perceiving that reality through their own lens of perception, and what we will never fully understand what another person is experiencing, because until we go back to that all that is experience, which experiences all things at all times from all perspectives. So Nick says, how do you think our experiences in dream reality and physical reality are connected to each other? So I feel so from the level of all it is, it's all oneness. But if the physical reality and the dream reality are your personal experiences of, it's your unique individual experience of your perspective of what is. And so everything exists all here and now. All of those dreams, all of those experiences, everything that's going to happen today, every person that you meet, all of those experiences are here and now. And I feel like they're just different perspectives of the same thing, but individual to you. So you have a particular dream that'll be completely individual to you. So you're experiencing that in the dream state, and it's something that is already there. But what's unique is your experience of that. It's your perception of that dream. And then when we're in the physical experience, it's just a different form of that. It's a more limited experience of that. But I feel like ultimately they are the same thing, just different experiences of the same thing, but unique to you. So a lot of times people can merge in dreams where if they lucid dreaming or astral travel, where they'll actually meet people beyond that, and they can have interactions, and they can, when they come back to this physical dream, they can speak about that and talk about it with each other, which is an interesting thing. If we say it's completely unique to you, how can we merge and have experiences outside of that? And I think that's where it comes, like the agreed collective experience merges in that non-physical as well, just on a higher level. So I feel like the dream and this physical dream, or physical reality as we see it, are just each of our individual perspectives of the same thing. And it's like, so when we look at that, then we say that if everything exists here and now, then we're not actually creating anything. But what we are doing, and I feel that is true, that everything exists now and we're just reaching for it. It's like when we were with a partner or with someone we spend a lot of time, we have the same thought at the same time. All that is that thought is there, and we're on the same vibration, and we just get it at the same time. Or people come up with the same inventions at the same time in different parts of the world with no connection. We're just accessing what's already there. So it's but do we create? If we look at it from that point of view, then you would say no, we're not actually creating something so that that didn't exist before. But what we are doing is experiencing something that can be completely new, completely unique to us. We're experiencing the infinite possibilities, but our unique perspective on that that infinite amount of possibilities. And that's why creation is infinite, because there will never be an end to perspectives. There will always be a different perspective. There will always be an opportunity to look at something or experience something from a different point of view, and that's why we are birthless and deathless, and creation will go on as and to infinity. So that's where how I feel about that, about the physical and non-physical. But it's an interesting question about how we have that experience in the non-physical. What agreed realities do we have when we go into dream states beyond the physical body? What agreements do we have? Because it's much more clear to see the agreements that we have when we're in physical reality. We have an agreement that gravity works. We have an agreement that north, south, east, west are the distances. We have an general agreement that we're born, we get older, and we die. These general agreements, but I've not looked into much within. I don't know if Alexandra's still on there. I'd love to hear her point of view on what in astral travel, where people can meet, what agreed realities, or what are the confines of agreement when we move into like astral travel experiences, because that's interesting. I've not looked into that, and I've not had any like specific guidance on how that works, so that would be an interesting question. But I think to get practical and get a bit more physical and a bit more three-dimensional for people, it's every day moving towards waking up within this physical dream. Whether you believe it's a dream or not is not really it's not really the point. But if you know that you can create in this reality what you want, you can create the things that you desire, you can give yourself the experiences that are positive and empowering, then you should do that. Also, it's not always love, light, and positive experience. We come here to experience both sides. So know that if we're experiencing something that feels out of our control, that's very dark and negative, that's an experience that we are choosing to have as well, and we want to experience that so that we can experience and know fully the opposite of that. But waking up more every day to the reality that you are that all that is energy, you are creative being, you have ultimate control over all of these things. Again, it's not control, it's more you have an ability to steer reality in the way that you would like it to be, in the way that it that you choose, because you're a creator. And the more that you wake up to the fact that you're already awake, the quicker you'll create exactly what you want within this reality. And it's fun. It's exciting when these things happen, where you can just have a thought and instantly something will reflect to you that reflects that thought. And again, this if we're having constant negative thoughts, it works the same way. There's no on the highest level, there's no right and wrong. So if we're having negative thoughts about ourselves and others, we're going to create those manifestations quicker now in this energy as well. That's going to give us things that we don't want, or people that are situations that are the opposite of our desire. So be aware of our thoughts, be aware of our words, take the actions moving towards the things that you want, and your physical dream will become a real dream. It'll become a happy place, a positive thing. And it's always a flow. It's always going from dark to light, positive to negative, and it's a journey. And the point of it all is the journey is the point. The journey, going through the challenges, experiencing the beauty and the wonder is the point. It is the point of it all. It's not a destination. Life is the journey. Life is the experience, and it's your unique perspective. And if you can experience that in a joyful way, why wouldn't we do that? Or why wouldn't we at least reach for that every day? And we can all do that. We can always find something to be grateful for. We can always find joy in simple things. We can move in the direction of things that are that are empowering and positive and expansive every day. We have free choice. That's another gift that we have. It's a real amazing gift of free choice, where we can experience those things as our choice. It's our God-given, source-given energy of choice, the choice to experience what we want, and that can be the positive and the negative. And again, on the higher level, there is no positive and negative. It's just a flow of what we experience. So we can choose to move in whichever direction we go, and whether that is up or down, just know that we have that ability to choose, and that's empowering, and that means we can take ourselves in directions that are expansive and loving. And so again, I got esoteric on that way off. I did want to give some practical advice. The reason I kind of thought of this is because a friend of mine's from home was talking about insomnia yesterday, and she was having trouble sleeping. So I wanted to, obviously breath is my passion, and that's what I do, and that's how I surf these dreams of physical reality and non-physical reality, because the breath it's the breath of life. It's your connection to that non-physical when you're in the physical. So for anyone that's having sleep troubles, there's a very good breathing technique that you can use, and it's called the 4-7-8 breath technique. So it's a doctor, I think his name is Andrew Weil. He came up with this technique to help people to sleep. So I know a lot of people can have trouble sleeping. I'll be honest, I have not used this because recently, before I have had lots of trouble sleeping because of a very busy mind, but recently I lay down, I go to sleep. But I'll put the link of that video because he can describe it much better. But from memory, how it is done, so when you want to go down to sleep, so you will breathe out forcefully through the mouth, so it's like then you're going to breathe in slowly through the nose quietly for a count of 4. So then you hold the breath in for a count of 7. So then you're going to breathe out forcefully through the mouth for a count of 8. So it'll be and that's one round. So just remember 4-7-8. So breathing out through the mouth with a inhale quietly through the nose for 4, hold for a count of 7, and then breathe out forcefully for a count of 8. And there's lots of things online where this says this can make you fall asleep in 60 seconds. I honestly don't have direct experience of that, so I can't tell you, but I know how powerful the breath is, and I know this was quite popular and a lot of people have tried it and it's worked for them. So if you are having trouble sleeping, try it. It's very simple, very easy to remember, 4-7-8. And try it and see. You've nothing to lose. It's a very simple and free technique that you can try. I'll post the video of Andrew, I think it's Andrew Weil, how he describes it and why it works and how it works, and it's relaxing the body, obviously. So and that's the thing. So if we talk about insomnia or having trouble getting to sleep, so as I said at the start, what I'm offering a different perspective of what happens is when we sleep is it's our soul is tired of being limited in this physical body, but what keeps us in the physical body is the physical the physical parts of the body, but then we also have other bodies, which is our mental body, and that's where our thoughts are. And a lot of people, why they can't get to sleep a lot of times, there are various causes of insomnia. I'm not saying this is the only one, but an overactive mind and thoughts and overthinking things generally can be, I know I have had history of that as well, so that your mind, the mental mind, can't switch off because it's thinking about everything that happened during that day. It could be thinking about something that happened 30 years ago. It could be thinking of something that's going to happen tomorrow or in 10 years time. So it's like that constant mental, mind keeps your awareness in this physical body, because it's like, and the soul wants to expand and get out of there, but the mental body is kind of so the mental body is around your physical, and it's kind of holding the awareness that wants to get out and expand. So practices like breathing techniques, like I just shared, that 4-7-8 technique, allows the physical body to relax through pushing out the breath, but also it quietens that mental chatter, that mental body, that each body has its own purpose, and we create through thoughts. So your mental body, it's not like it's an enemy, or that thoughts are enemy, but if we have a constant thought that's keeping us from relaxing, that's keeping us from what we want to do, which is in that point is to go to sleep, then it's not working to our advantage. So using breath techniques, using meditation, tiring out the physical body through exercise, of course, again gives better sleep, and because not because of what we're taught that we sleep because the physical body needs rest. It's more so that physical exercise allows the body to relax, so that our soul can get out and expand to what that is. The physical body, yes, the physical body repairs itself overnight, and we know that muscle and those things grow when we're at rest, but I feel like the sleep is more an actual expansion of the soul, expansion of the awareness outside of the physical realms, so that it can get its rest, and the body heals and repairs itself in those points as well. So if you are look into that 4-7-8 technique. If you do have trouble sleeping, it's a really as I said, I haven't direct experience, but it has a lot of hits, the video, and lots of people have had positive experiences with it. So try that and give it a go. I would say meditation is amazing for all sorts of benefits, relaxing, and physical exercise, yoga, those types of things are always good. And I think I should make a point again as well, because I talk a lot about the physical body is not who we are, but we can take that to extremes as well. So if we actually go to like the teachings of someone like Muji, which is amazing, beautiful teachings, but if we feel like we're not the body, we're this expansive thing, then sometimes people can forget about the physical body, and this is not me, so I'll let that go. So I won't eat well, I won't get enough sleep, I won't give it rest, I won't allow it to repair itself. So that's something that is taken too far the other way as well. So just because the body is changing and it's not actually who we are, doesn't mean that we shouldn't take care of it, because when we are here in this physical dream, this is what we're going to experience. This is where most of our awareness is here. It's where we're putting our attention now, and to have the best experience, having a good, strong, flexible physical body is going to make this experience so much better, so much lighter, so much more fun. It allows you to experience all the things that you wanted to come here to choose. So really, it's balance. It's all about balance. Everything's about balance, and yoga is the ultimate for me in that balance. But it doesn't have to be. You can some form of physical exercise, feeding the body in the way that it needs, and the other end of that is balancing the amount of food that you take in as well, because we've been talking a lot recently about fasting and the benefits of fasting. So giving the physical body a rest through intermittent fasting or something like that. The digestive system is one part of the body that rarely gets a rest, because when we go to sleep at night, there's still food digesting through our body, so it's one part of the body that gets little rest. So intermittent fasting, juicing, those types of things are really powerful. So just as the soul needs a rest from being in the physical body needs a rest by laying on the bed. The internal workings of the body needs a rest as well, and that's where the digestive system. If we look at the other parts, the heart beats constantly, but it's when we're at rest, whether we're sleeping or just relaxing on a chair or sofa, the heart doesn't have to work as hard, so it gets rest. It beats all night regardless of of what we're doing, but it gets a rest at that point. The mental body, the brain gets a rest when we sleep because we don't have as much, well, obviously on the other level it's going through these other experiences, but the physical, the mental thoughts that we have during the day, our awareness is not on those, so the brain is getting a rest. Our breathing will slow while we're at rest as well, so the lungs, which follows to the heart, will also get a rest. But the digestive system is one that's essential to life as well. So those are the digestive system, the heart and the lungs and the brain. They're all the things that allow this physical dream and reality to keep us alive in this physical dream. But the digestive system is one that I feel that we're moving towards a lot of information now that really needs a rest. Firstly, it needs the proper fuel. It needs the proper nutrients from the food, but it also needs, like every other part, it needs rest periods. If we're constantly putting food into our body, then it doesn't get a rest. It's constantly moving and it's taking up energy in the body to do that process, because every action and reaction, it requires energy to digest food. If the food is very heavy and it takes more energy to digest very, very heavy food, so it stands to reason that this vehicle we need to look after, we need to service it. We need to, just because it's not us doesn't mean, just because a car that we drive here is not who we are, doesn't mean we don't look after it. We put petrol into it, we service it, we clean it, we do all those things. So think of your body as a car, a beautiful car that upgrades itself and changes model every moment, but you can assist and help that through just proper maintenance and looking after it and sending love to your body and putting the right fuel and also giving it rest, allowing it to sit in the driveway and not do anything for some time. But that's something to look at around the sleep as well. A lot of people may eat just before they go to sleep, so you can imagine then that food has to be digested. So that's why I recommend a lot to people, even if they're not interested in intermittent fasting, where it's fasting through the day. Really powerful way that people can incorporate some form of fasting every day is creating a window at the end of the day and at the start of the day where you don't eat. So we would do like 7 to 7, so you don't eat anything after 7 o'clock at night, and you don't start eating the next day to after 7 in the morning. For most people that's not really difficult, because we just have habits of snacking. Most people will eat dinner before that time, and I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people will eat before that. But if it's just extending that period for maybe an hour or two out around the sleep, if you're getting 8 hours sleep and you extend that period, your digestive system is getting a good rest. If you can do that 12 hours, then your digestive system is actually getting 12 hours rest in a 24-hour period. So that's really powerful. But if you are just constantly putting food, just imagine in the car analogy, if you're just constantly putting petrol into the tank, what's going to happen? It's going to overflow. It's going to be wasted, and that's when the petrol overflows out of the car. In that analogy, when we do that in our body, it's energy that's coming into the body that's not needed for the body. And then it becomes fat, and that's it goes into like obesity and those types of things. But if we only give ourselves exactly what we need with fuel and with rest, then it's going to work efficiently. Then it's going to upgrade itself, because it's a magical system that works on its own. So the digestive system works on its own, the heart beats on its own. You will breathe without conscious control, although you can have conscious control, and your brain works on its own. So it's a magical system. It will work on its own, and it will work on its own for a long time, even if you don't treat it well. But what do we come here to experience? We want to experience a good life, a happy life, an energetic life. We want to experience things that are joyful, and we can use our vehicle in a way that will allow that to happen more often. And go easy on yourself as well, and don't feel like if you're going through any issues with the body and our thoughts or guilt or negative thoughts about our body, those just self-perpetuate. So we need to go easy on ourselves and don't think, oh, I have to fast for this certain amount of time or my body's not going to be well. No, you need to go easy on yourself and love yourself and start with self-love, and these things will happen naturally. Your diet will naturally lighten up because you just don't need as much energy from food as fuel. There's further steps that we've been talking about on this, in like breatharianism and people that move completely beyond that need, but that's a further step that's not really relevant for this video. But the people that do that, it's interesting, they have waken up fully, lucidly in this physical dream, because when you go dream, when we fall asleep here and go dream, you don't need food in that time, but these people have actually woken up inside this physical dream and realized, oh, actually I can do that here as well. But that's another conversation again. So but yeah, everything that I talk about is geared towards my process of waking up inside this physical dream, and I want to share it with you. And the farmer just taking his hey, relax. It wouldn't be a video unless this little lad joined in. He's chasing the farmer who's been out picking the carobs. It's time for them. So yeah, I think I've gone on long enough on that. But as everything that everything that I talk about is for you or for me. It's for me. I'm just sharing what's working for me, and the process is waking up within this physical dream through any means that works, and the more you do that, the more this dream will become magical. So thank you very much everyone for joining. I'm happy to be on here sharing. I'm very grateful for this gift of Facebook Live, where I can connect with people anywhere in the world, and it's an amazing gift. I'm so happy that this technology is available, and I had an amazing conversation with a friend of mine yesterday on much more esoteric and non-physical and out there things, and today I can talk about some physical things. This is the beauty of all of this. So check out that video with Iveta, it's amazing, from yesterday. It will challenge a few of your beliefs and perceptions and paradigms, I'm sure, but just broaden your mind and open up to possibilities. If you want to create change in your life, you need to change your thoughts. You need to change your beliefs. If your belief systems and thoughts are keeping this reality, it stays the same, then you have to change it. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So, but again, just have fun. It's all about the journey and living, loving and laughing every day. So thank you very much everyone for joining. We start another retreat tomorrow, so I won't be on as much. Well, maybe I will, let's see. But have an amazing week, have an amazing Monday. Hope you're all doing very well. If you want to talk to me about anything, hey, if you want to chat to me, you can always message me or contact me through our website or whatever else, WhatsApp and all of those. So have an amazing day everyone, lots of love, and I will see you all very soon. Namaste, bye bye.